Yes, finally we are live. Just let me check, please. Yes, we are live. Just let me 1 minute, please. Yeah, good evening, everyone. It's a great honor to pleasure welcome to all Global Leaders Talk, a platform where the different parts of the world comes together to share insights, experience, and perspectives that is the influence the direction of our global community and youth society. So education is no longer just about learning degrees or passing exams. Today, education is about developing the mindset, skills, values, and adaptability in a changing world. Dear audience, today we are going to talk about a very important topic. It's very important themes. Today we are explore embarking the future through educations. When education prepares us for the future, it helps us thinking critically and solve our real problems and adaptability with confidence, change the mindset, and build the creativity, leadership, and innovation. And this inspiration session is proudly presented by Tushar Associates, an organization committed to development, leadership, communication, and personal development across the world. Dear audience, I'm Tusar Hasan Hridoy, a soft skill and sales leadership practitioner. I'm from the Bangladesh, and I'm today honored for today's global conversation. And I'm very confident that the insights shared by our guest will inspire all of us. So today we are privileged to welcome our outstanding speaker, who are already making in leadership, personal development, and communication development across the world. So first, we are honored to welcome Danielle Boyles, the international humanitarian, educator, author, artist, and holistic practitioner and guided human from the US. Please welcome this podcast.
Yes, hi, hello, good evening to you from the US. And it is a great pleasure and privilege to join you here for this conversation today. Thank you very much for the invite and welcome to all of our viewers globally who are watching. Good day, global greetings.
Thank you so much for your valuable times to this. And before we continue, I request everyone's
Mhm.
uh, drop your country names and where you are connected with us from today's global conversation.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, that's today we are finally going to explore our podcast and let's dive into the main discussion. So, Daniel,
Absolutely.
you are doing very well in international education system and technology system in especially education platform in college, university, or whatever. So my first question is very simple. Uh, what was the single experience in your life that mindset that made you believe education is not about a feeling mindset about yoking souls?
Mm. It's very difficult to pinpoint a singular event when you have been in education for as long as I have been and through so many different experiences. But, you know, at certain points throughout my career, I have done different jobs. And in particular moments when I'm working with students, you see that there is a stagnancy in their progress. And I recall at one point, it's been a handful of years ago. I remember thinking, how do we break the stigma, the stagnancy that is in education today? And keep in mind, I'm not a mainstream educator in my everyday job. I'm a vocational trainer for special education. And but I still am very exposed to the everyday, practices, processes. I've worked in the classroom much of my time in the field. And, I remember just standing there thinking, how do we get these kids motivated again, so that they are learning new things, doing new things, getting to experience themselves in what they are doing and what they're experiencing and learning whenever they come to school every day, instead of the same rote way of teaching, of just teaching material, allowing them the space. So, really, it was just a moment in my own time and space that I stopped and recognized that, even for my own two kids, school never really quite went the way that I thought it should as a development era of a student's life. That it should be a much more expansive period of education, not just to learn what you're being taught, but to learn how to think, to learn how to grow, and to learn how to expand yourself. So, not particularly an experience, but a moment with myself and my own thoughts and how I felt about education and how I saw it and experienced it, not just on a professional level, but on a personal level as well as a parent.
Yeah, it's a really amazing for lifelong learning experience and life experience in
Mm.
our whole experience. That's really amazing to our personal and professional, and also it's a directly influence our professional and corporate life. You know that very well. When we are learning and when we are develop my thoughts, then I can deliver my thoughts in front of other people. But unfortunately, our education system is totally damaged. Yeah, so we need to change something. So yeah, so my second question is very simple. You are doing very well in national and internationally. So, and you know that the first in the world. So the world is changing faster than our education system can keep us with AI and climate change and
Mhm.
the social upheaval and mental health, yeah, and crisis among young people. Is the future of education is going to save us, or are we already too far behind? Because it's the
Um,
very complicated. What do you work your experience and do you can you clarify about this?
sure, absolutely. I can, relate to every part of that. And can and will the education system save us and our future generations? They can, but will they? That is the question. The question is, will they expand their books, their experiences, their knowledge? It's not just about students; it's about educators and what type of influence they are going to be in the classroom. How are they going to be trained? Here in the United States, we have expanded somewhat. We've moved a little bit into the more technological era. All classrooms have Promethean boards, which are, all technologically advanced, for teaching and downloading, and they're, very large chalkboard size so that the whole class can be interactive. So, and that is in our school system here. Now, to speak for other school systems around the world, I'm not sure because I haven't had, um, as much influence from schools in the US as I have from schools that are outside the US, since I work as a humanitarian educator globally. So I see classrooms that are externally from the United States. But I do see that they are making progress. I feel like the rest of the world is being supported more, so their classrooms are being more successful. Students are adapting to being able to learn more, to experience more, and so in the humanitarian field, doing what we're doing worldwide, you know, starting small. I mean, like my first international experience, and I tell this story all the time, started with a cell phone, two cell phones, and two educators, and a classroom of students sitting outside on a blanket. That, 5 years, 4 or 5 years ago, that was my first international educator experience, was teaching art class to a group of students via two mobile devices, to kids that did not have access to technology or even to a classroom at that. And so, from my global experience, yes, we are most definitely making strides um, in advancing different school systems. Making these things more available for students with that type of work. But realistically, it's going to take a very wide safety net and support system that we have been very progressively trying to build for the last 4 or 5 years. So it is expanding. Yes, it does have the ability to save the generation of students that we think are all failing, but it needs to be more supportive in many different ways.
Yeah, because sometimes I feel that about that word. We are so much like a generation in the history to
Mhm.
learning different things in different sides. Because we are so much like a generation. Why? Because we have technologies, AI, international speaker, trainer, teacher,
Mhm.
all over the world, where I can see a lot of opportunities in our hands. But unfortunately, we are also so much distracted generation in the history
Yeah.
because social media addicted, not right teaching methods, and not good networking around the world, especially different culture, different
Mhm.
people. You know that very well. Different culture, different people. It's a real life experience. Who are tried to that.
Mhm.
So yeah, I really agree with you. That's the important to survive for next time.
Yeah.
So, my third question is very important and very interesting part. So, you have work in education and humanitarian services. So, and personal and also professional development. So, how do this experience influence your philosophy of teaching and learning? Because these are the very important teaching and learning.
Learning for me has always been very important, especially in relation to like what my life calling is at the time. So if I have a particular calling that requires me to learn more about a certain subject, then I dive into it and I learn more about it. Um, I have many different certifications and all different kinds of things, things that people aren't even aware of. I have certification in like massage practicing. I'm a sound healing therapist. I'm a holistic practitioner, and I'm also a foreign language English teacher and certified in all different kinds of modalities of special education. And so I just every opportunity that I see, rise that needs to be learned more about, whether it's to educate myself or to help those that I am helping, it's very important to keep your mind open to learning, different things of, modalities and practices. And that goes hand in hand with like all of my humanitarian work. Sorry, I keep cutting out. I think I have a delay in my mic. So if I'm choppy in my responses, that's why. But anyway, I'm sorry. I hope that answered your question. But yeah.
Yeah, sometimes whenever I realize that different culture, different people, you know that my in my podcast there are many international speaker where I participate here to their experience, their thoughts, and there the similar things is that their own things. Lifelong learning is very important because uh, if you want to be a good speaker or a good trainer, you have to must first be a lifelong learner. There is no alternative route here. And, and you know that learning and before one word E, earning. Yeah,
Mhm.
learning before equal E.
Right? Learning
Learning
before
before earning.
learning.
Did you see?
Yeah. Well, and even currently still, I'm on a new venture in my life. I am always learning. I'm still taking holistic modality, practitioner courses. And, I do those just to help keep myself, in the know about all of the most recent holistic practices. but I'm also going to school with Rayhan AI School, and there's still a lot of individuals that aren't aware of that, but I'm in teachers training with Rayhan School, and so you always have
Teacher,
to. I am. I'm in teacher training.
it's
Yeah.
called a TOT. It's called a TOT, yes? Teacher for training. Training for teachers or trainer, yeah?
Yeah, well, there's a certain name for it, but I'm in their accelerated. It's kind of a boot camp class, so
Oh, right.
it's very informative, educational, but it is a little intense. Loving every minute of it, and I can't wait to see the outcome. But I have been requested to be a regional partner in the U.S., and so I must know all the ways.
Okay, my last question, not least, not last. So I have too much question from today's different perspectives. So
Mhm.
my question is that you were as an educator and humanitarian, how can education help create a more compassionate and responsible and globally mindset citizen? Because I love to explore in globally, not for personal or not for uh, in a country, but I want to explore in front of other people in global market because
Right.
that's very important in mindset and citizens. So how you can explore that further?
Well, I mean, this is something that I have always followed in a very simple minded concept from the beginning of when I first initially started doing humanitarian work. And the main goal is for human equality and for conscious awareness, awareness for your fellow human, for your fellow humans' experiences, and also for your fellow human suffering, and the fact that, you know, not everyone does not have to suffer to learn or to experience. And so bringing that equality into experience with compassion and responsibility to help those who are struggling or those who are having a difficult, whether it's a moment or a life or, whatever they're experiencing, that is the whole point of the humanitarian, expansion of doing. And so the global like-mindedness that needs to be developed, because we have become a very selfish society. We have become a very self-absorbed society and a very materialistic society that stigmatizes success as extremely materialistic. And we need to view it more as like the experience of life needs to be the goal and the success. The financial goals, the materialistic goals, all of that is nice to obtain along the way. But somewhere along the way, we have lost vision and sight of the fact that we are a collective world that is supposed to be living together and not against each other. And so I feel like I might be going wayward of, the answer I should be giving you, but it just all kind of encompasses and, and works cohesively together. And so as a humanitarian educator, education in and of itself is what develops those conscious awareness abilities. It develops those empathic, you know, senses that we need in order to uplift our entire world. And essentially, in a nutshell, that's it.
Yeah, it's really amazing to hear conversations. Today we are totally last moment in this our podcast. So I have no question at the moment. So
Yeah,
would you
sure.
like to share uh, your whole life experiences in teaching, training, as a mother or as a
Oh, wow.
human, being, and also your education, all those things. So
My
would
whole
you
life
like to share some
experience.
things? I have no question exactly.
I've had a whole lot of experience in my 49 years of life. Um, I am a mother of two older boys. I have an 18-year-old and a 30-year-old, almost 30. He's going to be 30 this month. And, beginning from the beginning of my life, from birth, I have had, you know, challenges. And, those challenges have included, health issues or overcoming, confidence issues, managing, family difficulties, parental, marriage issues. I'm a child of divorce and, moving quite a bit whenever I was younger. And, but I'm also a child of two parents that are very, very independent entrepreneurs and are very intelligent, very hardworking people. And so, I derived, not just my strengths, but, also my empathy. My empathy comes very much from my grandmother's side of the family. She was a beautiful, just loving, very devoted individual to doing work with the church and just with a family. And then as I got older, I've gone through challenges of losing a spouse and of, rebuilding my life and then going through, what a lot of individuals experience, in life. You go through adapting and learning how to survive and reground and regroup and to, as a single parent, to figure life out. And after, so many years of not being, on my own, I've always been an independent woman and I've always been an entrepreneur. I've always been a learner. But life is very different after you lose a spouse. And life is very different raising kids on your own. So, I know I'm not alone in the world at that, but it presents an entirely new challenge to your life set. And so, my goal is to just keep learning and progressing through whatever, life gives me, making sure that my kids are happy, healthy, and successful. And, and the same for myself, it's, and then helping the world along the way in all of those experiences and learned growth and, presenting myself to the world in a way that can be learned from. That's the end goal, is when you go through something. One of my favorite quotes is, that you have to go through it to bring the medicine back for other individuals. And so through life experience, I have experienced things that required me to learn and grow from. And then I bring back the help for the other individuals that need it. So, and that's what it's all about. A lot of people lose sight of that. Our experiences is learned for help for others.
Yeah, that's really your whole journey in short time explaining.
That's just a little bit of it.
Yeah, it's short time your explains too much in personal and professional. And yeah, the world is place of hard work. This is not a five-star hotel. Yeah, and different time, different picture in our life. Yeah, and whenever I realize that life has no replay again, so live life happily, learn development with empathy. That's all, and learn education, different things. So
Absolutely.
yeah, thank you so much once again for your valuable time. So if you give me some permission, I would like to one question from our audience.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mujibur Rahman is from Bangladesh. He's asking some question. How can education help shape a better future?
Oh, education can help shape a better future by expanding our own inherent confidence and knowledge and awareness of the world. I feel like we lived in a very compartmentalized state for a long time that our world was very small around us. And so with the introduction of, technology and our ability to connect globally, we're much more able to be able to connect with individuals that we weren't able to before. And that creates a much wider safety net, not just for education and humanity, for humanitarian work, but it shows other individuals that, it can be done, like this whole world thing, it can be done.
So, thank you so much once again. So, dear audience, today we are totally last minute in this podcast. And remember one thing, education is not about preparing for our career, education is preparing for our life and better future. And when we embarking education with open-minded, we can development our skills needed for tomorrows and adapt confidently to change the world. Lead with knowledge, purpose with compassion, and create a better future for ourselves and other people. Because that's why the importance of embarking of the future through educations. This is the key to innovation, leadership, and long-lasting global impact. And that's why the education is so much important for our personal and professional life. The future does not belongs to those who know the most. It belongs to those who never stop learning.
Right.
So, once again, thank you so much, dear audience, and also our guests, for your such a wonderful conversation and discussion. I believe that strongly that will be directly influence our younger generation and global peoples. So, thank you so much once again for your valuable time. Thank you so much, audience. Till connected with Tusar Associate. See you soon the next podcast. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Take care, everyone.